down on the southwest coast path. We got the train down to St Austell, and then we got a bus to Gorenhaven, which was basically where we left off the last time we were on the path, which was probably about 18 months ago now. But we're back on the path where we would have been carrying on. We've probably only done like a mile and a half, maybe a couple of miles, right out to this one little head that points right out into the sea. So we're hopefully going to sit down, have some tea, maybe find a nice little level spot to put the tent up and have our first night on the trail.
So we run out of water, and this is one way you can find some without having to filter it. Just press the ball cock down, if you can get your bottle in underneath it. Yay! Thank you, Mr. Farmer.
Some of the treats of the trail, coming across trees like this. I don't think I've ever seen an elderflower of this age, and obviously this diameter. That's almost like 12 inches in diameter there. Phenomenal. And long may it continue. Right on another elder. So it's the second day on the trail. It's actually the first proper full day, because we didn't actually get down here until, I think it was about sort of 5:30 yesterday when we actually got on the actual southwest coast path. So we didn't have far to go before we had to find a campsite for the evening. So it's just gone lunchtime. We've covered a few miles. We haven't been gone crazy today, but it's really nice and dry, nice and hot actually. Lois has already had to break out her sun hat, but yeah, some beautiful little bays already, and really enjoying all the spring flowers, and there's quite a lot more foliage out here compared to at home. Obviously a little bit warmer, but yeah, so far it's really nice. The pack's pretty comfortable, and yeah, feeling good.
It's the first day, so far so good, and we've got six days left. Couldn't be better.
And they say about the coast path, obviously sometimes it goes slightly inland a little bit, but sometimes it is literally right on the edge. Pretty severe. Watch your step.
So the first proper day of walking, we've come from beyond that point over there, and we've walked all the way around, down in some little bays, in and out, up and down, quite a lot of up and down. And now we're here, and we're looking for a little flat spot to camp. So wish us luck.
What do you think of this spot we found?
This is about the ultimate camping pitch in the world.
So just woke up from second night on the trail. I think probably we found the best campsite in the world last night. perfectly level, overlooking the sea. The sound of the waves was just really nice to just put you to sleep last night. But then again, we did go to sleep at about 8 o'clock because yeah, it was just that kind of thing to do on the trail really. But just woke up to this amazing sunrise.
But we set off this morning looking for lunch. It's now midday and it's just around the next cove. This amazing cafe that someone told us about. But in the meantime, you've got all this, and this is what you come here for. For our first ferry crossing, just a short trip across the St Maurs, and then we will get another ferry for a slightly longer crossing across to Falmouth, which is our first big town that we've hit so far, so we can stock up on whatever we need and then find somewhere to camp on the other side.
Getting your sea legs, Lois? It's a bit, whoa!
Choppier than I thought it would be.
I'm not adding the rock for the effect of the film. It's actually pretty rocky. So we found a little patch, little grassy spur sticking out over the beach, and got the tent up in the perfect place, really, I think.
Yeah, it's lovely. We're just, these boats, if you can see them in the background, are outside of Falmouth. And the lights have come on now, so it looks quite pretty. We walked way too far and we're really, really tired, but we found a great spot, so it was all worth it.
Yeah, I think it should be nice. It's about 8:30. We're finally having some dinner. Lois has opened my can of beer, thinking it was her can of Sprite. So that means I've got to drink 2 cans of beer tonight. Damn. Things just get better and better. Set off this morning from our lovely little campsite. We've just come through the woods and round the coastline, and then we've just come through, and this is the Halford River, where we've got to catch our last ferry for this particular trip. So this is our last river crossing, basically. So we effectively had to catch 2 ferries yesterday, and it should be just 1 direct ferry across if they're running. It should be, but we will find out now. So yeah, beautiful day. Couldn't have asked for better weather, really. So yeah, we'll wander down, see if the boatman's there. So it's been an incredibly dry path the whole way. Very, very dusty, in fact. But this is the first muddy bit of track that we've come across. And what we've found out, to Lois's absolute joy, is that it's down to a block drain. So when you go on holiday with Lois, this is what you end up with.
Nothing better than unblocking a drain. The satisfaction is just, it's right up there.
But you've already fixed the toilet as well, haven't you, on
I
your
fixed
trip?
the toilet in the public loos. Yeah, the seat was nearly falling off. Get back and
So what are you doing now? Show us what you're up to.
clearing this pipe.
So what was it?
Drainage pipe that goes under the pavement.
So this was the rock that was blocking it.
Yeah, that's the rock that was blocking it.
So now you're
And some
clearing the
leaves.
drain.
And now look, it's flowing.
It's flowing now, so hopefully this path will now dry up. So she's saving other coastal walkers from slipping on their behinds. Well done, Lois. So Lois is heading across. She's already across, Lois is. What was it like on the toes, Lois? Ooh, that's squidgy. Not really, it's a bit sharper here though, be careful.
The sticks are so good,
Yeah,
aren't they? Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. It's like
they're sharp.
a bed.
Yeah, it's a mussel bed basically. So that saved us a big old walk all the way up and around and back again. It's real steep.
More to go.
Wow, look at that. So we had another night, probably our least perfect campsite. So we basically managed to find a flattish piece of ground just next to a field full of bulls, which we were kind of concerned that they were going to get out all night, but they didn't. Little bit slopey, quite long grass, so it was quite damp, but still slept well. And I'll show you what the view was like from our tent, which was pretty impressive, really.
First brew of the day. Ben's got his usual coffee, and I have got some mint and cleavers tea. Some mint had escaped from someone's garden on the trail, so we picked some on the way, and obviously cleavers are everywhere, so I think I've got the better drink.
Always a hold up in there, hey? Hello. So we just had a little section, quite a bit inland, through some really nice villages and things, and bypassed the quarry. I think the original path used to actually go through the quarry, and now we're back out, pretty much right back down on the coast again. A few cliffs to climb, but at the moment we're just enjoying a little bit of the sound of the ocean again after that bit of almost urban back there. But I'm glad it's not all on the actual sand, the coast path, because it's pretty exhausting walking on sand or gravel. So another section of uphill, and then hopefully round the bend is Coverack.
I'm doing the coastal walk so that I can lose my spare tyre, and this is the point where that has happened. Not everything on the coast path is beautiful and natural and picturesque. We've sometimes got real Cornish industry going on.
So this is what it's all about. It's windy now, the sun is still shining, and we've just come across a section of path that's really dramatic. In fact, we got advised that we should go on the higher path because the lower path, there'd been some rock slides and things like that, and you'd have had to scramble literally over the rocks to get along the path. But even just that little bit then, fantastic. This is what it's all about. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. We've got this power in our legs. We're feeling like we could just keep going for miles, really. What do you say, Lois?
It's a nice time either early in the morning or later on in the evening now, because most people have gone home, so it feels like you've got the whole place to yourself.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. You'll see a few dog walkers just finishing off for the day, especially when you're close to towns, but this is like the magic hour when you feel like you could be in the wilderness just on your own, really. Well, with Lois, she always seems to tag along, really. But yeah, we'll carry on a little bit further and hopefully find a little level spot.
Out of the wind.
Out of the wind. It will, if this wind carries on, it's going to be a bit of a test for the tent, but I think we'll be able to find a little sheltered little spot. The thing is with the coast path is you think you're in a beautiful spot, then you come around the bend and you're in another beautiful spot, then you go around another bend and you're in another beautiful spot, and basically we've only done sections of it, but if you do the whole thing you've got 630 miles of beautiful things around the bend. So if you're going to go around the bend, I think this is a perfect way to do it, really. So beautiful dramatic bit of coastline here. So get out and do it. So yesterday, shorts, blazing hot weather. This morning we sat outside having our brew and our porridge, and you can see your breath. It is probably, I don't know, maybe down to 4 degrees, is it? This wind chill is phenomenal, but yeah. That's why we're carrying gear for winter, summer, and everything in between. Whew. So, pretty windy last night. We managed to tuck ourselves in behind a bit of a hedge to get out the real major wind, but it was still sort of swirling round and blowing the tent a little bit. So, we had forgotten the earplugs, so we resorted to sticking tissues in our ears to try and get our heads down. But as you can see, the wind has picked up, and obviously we've got a lot more waves now. It was clear blue sea for the first couple of days, but now it's looking a bit more dramatic. So we were watching the waves crashing up against the cliffs over towards the Lizard this morning from our campsite, but you know, heading down there. Hopefully we'll be at the end of the Lizard by the end of today, but we will see how we fare. Nice to get down on the beach and feel the salt spray hitting your face. It's sort of nice to have the calm days. Obviously it makes it a lot easier for setting up camp, but somehow you almost need a bit of that energy coming off the sea to really feel like you've been on the coast. But it's really nice. Good bit of fresh air to revive the spirit.
Really feeling the elements today. There's a freezing cold southerly point in England, but we couldn't show you because it was so windy. We were getting blown off the edge, so we've huddled down behind a rock just to get our breath back.
So we've got our windproofs on as well as sunblock, because it is actually really sunny but pretty cold at the same time with this big wind that we've got at the moment. But now we're heading north and hopefully out of this very strong wind. Super duper windy, just come into this bit of a dip, incredible bit of coastline ahead, but we've got to try and go down this dip, across the windy flat top again, and try and find somewhere where we can get out of the wind and find a pitch for tonight. It's about 6:30 I think it is now, so we haven't got that much more daylight left, but more than importantly is try and get out of that wind.
Ground, and we put rocks on and the wind's blowing around the top, but compared to what else there was, this is perfect. It was a very windy night in the tent, a lot of noise with the flapping of everything, but we managed to find a slightly sheltered spot behind a wall. Luckily we were so tired we just fell asleep anyway, but yeah, a bit of a wild night out there just at the end of the moors there, but we found onwards, really nice, the sun's shining, still really quite cold with that breeze, so we've got all our windproofs on as well, except for Ben behind me, he's got his shorts on.
So we've just had a little breather and a spot of lunch on this amazing beach. I had a swim, which was fantastic, and I did have that before I ate my lunch as well. And yeah, it's been a really nice little patch, just a little bit out of the breeze. We've managed to set up the solar panel, get all the power banks topped up, and we've even had a little play around to see if we could use the Lanshan 2 and make a little improvised shelter on the beach. So basically gives us a bit of shade, still get out the sun, but not get too cold really. So Lois is hiding in there out of the sunshine so she doesn't get any more burned, and then we're going to pack up our bags, walk a little bit further along this beach. I think there's about 4.5 miles until we've basically finished this part of the trail, and unfortunately we've got to think about going home.
as I stop, he'll fly, won't he?
Yeah.
Do a kestrel noise. That's my kestrel.
That's your kestrel. Come on, Kez. Come on.